Hello, everyone. My name is Christina Murphy, and I am one of the authors of the Empowerment Model of Clinical Supervision. And I'm here with my co author.
Hey everyone, Kara Crossway Brindle, also co-author, co-founder of Supervisionary. Thanks for being
Yes.
here.
And we are doing vignettes today. And one of the vignettes that we are doing is about Charlie. Charlie is coming to Supervision today to talk about the lack of progress of a client. So
Perfect.
I am the supervisor,
And I
and
will be Charlie.
yeah.
All right,
So
let's do this.
let's do it. Okay, Charlie, what do you have for me today?
Well, I'm frustrated. I've been working with this client for 2 months now, and she just won't open up. She's not talking. I feel like I come in with ideas in session, and she's just surface level. She just doesn't want to engage. I recognize that I can't even begin to understand what she's been through. She's gone through an abusive relationship, and that's why she's in therapy with me. But I'm feeling kind of out of my element and a little frustrated that we're not going anywhere. We're not getting to anything.
Hmm. So it sounds like you have a certain agenda for her.
Well, yeah, I mean, as part of this domestic violence incident with her spouse, like for them to still co parent their kids, she needs to do therapy. And I just don't feel like we're accomplishing anything. And it's really frustrating.
Hmm. So one of the big pieces of therapy is progress, right? And as therapists, we have goals for clients, but they also have goals, right? Have you made goals with her that she's joined in?
I mean, we definitely had some goals back at the intake. I guess maybe it's worth a revisit here 2 months in. Maybe that would help her feel like we're on the same page.
Okay, so those initial goals that you made with her, they were in the very, very beginning before you guys had rapport, right? Would you say you guys had rapport?
Not really. I mean, when we started, I think she was just really scared by the whole situation. Like, even talking about the relationship, I got the sense she didn't feel comfortable talking about what happened.
Sure. So one of the things about abusive relationships, have you done your research on abusive relationships and victims of abusive relationships and trust?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely looked at the cycle of abuse and tried to talk to her about it. And I feel like that's when we really hit a wall. And I'm not really sure what to
Mm-hmm.
make of it. That I was trying to tell her there's a pattern to it. And it just,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, maybe as I'm talking to you out loud right now, maybe it just struck too hard or it was
Mm-hmm.
upsetting.
Yeah, maybe you came in too strong.
It's
So
possible.
yeah, so that's the thing, right? About people who have been in abusive relationships, they lack trust, right? And so she doesn't know you from the person at 7-Eleven, right? And she doesn't know if she can trust you. And it takes longer for them to know that they can trust you, that they can trust you with the information that they're giving you, right? And so, as counselors, right, we hold information for people, but we only hold the information that they feel they can trust us with. And so, it sounds to me like maybe she's not sure she can trust you yet. You came in maybe just a little too strong. So, how do you feel, or how do you feel you can begin to build that rapport with her? What does that map look like?
Well, I feel like just from what you've shared and reflected to me today, I almost feel like I owe her an apology for coming on too strong, or maybe I need to check that out and see if that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if I do that, she'll feel like she can trust me or she can see me as human, if nothing else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I'm wondering too if maybe people with histories of abuse actually can read other people a little bit better than those of us who have had more trusting relationships. So maybe she's reading your frustration in session.
Mm.
Do you think she can read you at all?
Oh yeah, I mean, I feel like I feel like I'm letting her down, but I'm also feeling this urgency from her, her DHS case of like, oh, we can't reunify your family until you do this. So
Mm,
maybe there's some pressure on me and I'm not showing up my best for her.
mm. So maybe you could go there a little bit, without totally saying, I'm totally dropping the ball, because that's not what's happening here, because you're not, but just kind of saying, being human and reflecting with her, where you're coming from and how this situation is, hey, I'm here to help you, and coming from that very humanistic perspective of
Mhm.
how you want to help her, and let's go over your goals. And I feel like maybe I might have come on a little bit too strong.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that's worth doing. And I guess as we're talking about this, maybe the other piece that I need to feel like I'm less stressed going in is maybe you can help me figure out how to write this into the report of like she is making progress, but it's not the progress that maybe they want to see or they've dictated. I don't know.
Mhm.
Is there a way to do that that wouldn't punish her for the fact that she's still building rapport with me?
Absolutely. The other piece is as a new counselor is there's timing for everything. And so I think one of the things that we'll probably have to work on is your timing.
Mm.
So when you brought out that cycle of abuse, um, was that a right time?
Mm.
Your rapport probably, was that fourth session, was that time to kind of go, hey, you're in the cycle of abuse, yeah, and now that you think about it, was that really the right time?
Maybe not. I mean, when you say it that way, I have to laugh, but it's painful. It's like, oh, maybe I just misread all of her cues and flooded her, and that was not my
Yeah,
intention.
yeah. And so when a person gets flooded, what happens?
They shut down.
Right. And then who flooded them becomes what?
The enemy,
Yeah,
the trigger.
yeah,
Hmm.
right. The trigger. So, and she's coming to you because she's required by DHS. And so she's doing the motions because she wants her children back,
Hmm.
or she wants whatever, she needs to do in order to meet her plan.
Yeah.
So, but what's great about the human condition is when people come to them and say, hey, this is the mistake that was made, or this is the hiccup that we had, but here is the path or the roadmap to better days. This is what we can do. It actually is good for her to see a human being with your authority come to her and say, hey, this is something I saw, and this is a mistake that was made, but this is how we can make it better. I think that would be a good learning and help her build trust with you. So we can talk a little bit more about how you'll do that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I feel like I have a sense of direction. And as I sit here, I'm realizing that I owe her, a lot of compassion for the fact that she's trying so hard to get her kids back. And I think I can own that and talk to her about that and hope that it helps us move in that direction that we need to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Do you have any
Awesome.
questions? Any more?
Uh, nope, I think I'll go ahead and try that out. And I think, spending our next supervision talking about how to write that into the report in a way that doesn't cause her any problems, to say this is realistic as she builds trust, that would be super helpful to me.
Perfect. Sounds great.
Awesome.
Nice job.
So, okay. So Charlie definitely felt supported. I didn't feel shamed or blamed for jumping the gun and, doing something in the fourth session. I think that is so true of all of us as green therapists, though. Like, this is bringing up memories of the fact where I'd come to you and be like, it's not working. Why are we not making
Right,
progress?
right.
So,
Yeah, we think that there's some kind of magic wand. I think the other piece too is with all of us as counselors, we think that a client isn't making progress, but really they are. It's just, what does progress look like for this client, and for the supervisee, helping them, come on, focus in, and oftentimes if a client isn't making progress, we're either not seeing it, or it's a hiccup that we did, and we kind of just knocked them off their box a little bit, and we just have to go, oh, okay, that's, and helping that supervisee find it. So yeah.
yeah. So I definitely felt like there was leadership in here. There was teacher and researcher for sure. When you're like, hey, what's your experience with domestic violence? What do you know? And it's like, oh,
Yeah,
like maybe their experience is limited. And
yeah,
so focusing on a cycle of abuse might be too much before, something else is built up first.
Right. And, definitely with this Supervisee, there's a lot here. This was very surface, but, not just looking at the cycle of abuse. There's so much more there. So, this Supervisee needs to do a lot more than just the cycle of abuse. Like there is so much more in abusive relationships. So that would actually, I would go so much more into this with this Supervisee
Oh
because,
yeah, over
yeah.
multiple supervision
Yeah.
sessions of like, hey, what
Yeah.
everything from going in your scope or staying in your lane of what
Yeah.
you know and what you don't know.
Yes, yes. And maybe this isn't the best client for this Supervisee
Mm,
as well. So,
gotcha. Well, hopefully, viewers, you're seeing how we can hold space for supervisees' anxiety, their frustration, their expectations, and when they make mistakes, and not having that be held against them, but be used as a learning tool to help them
mhm,
grow. So stay tuned for more
absolutely.
videos from us. We hope these are helpful. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.